Business Process Analysis, or BPA. You should have been provided a Business Process Analysis, or BPA, survey and a copy of your essential function along with this video. To simplify the development of the BPA, have both of these items immediately available as you follow along. Stop the video at each step. If you have any questions about the material contained in this video, reach out to your continuity program manager for your agency or department. A BPA captures and maps the functional processes, workflows, activities, subject matter expertise, systems, resources, controls, data, and facilities required in the execution of a function or task. It also details how the functions are performed from beginning to end. Mission essential functions are functions that an agency or department cannot defer or delay and are critical to the mission of the organization. You are the mission owner. You have been identified as the senior level individual within your agency or department who is directly responsible for overseeing the planning, budgeting, execution, and risk management of a specific critical function or mission, holding the ultimate accountability for success. To help explain the process of a business process analysis, let's use an example BPA. Let's use the example of a bakery. Its mission essential function has been identified as provide safe and fresh baked goods to an average customer base of 300 people a day from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. Let's start with step 1. Identify the essential function output. What products, services, and information results from the performance of the essential function? Identify the products, services, and information, or the deliverables or outputs that result from the performance of this essential function. An organization also identifies the partners or stakeholders that receive the outputs. The description should include appropriate metrics that identify specific performance measures and standards. The essential function outputs of this mission essential function that's been identified by the bakery includes products and services, fresh baked goods, breads, pastries, cakes, made daily and delivered to customers. Customer service for approximately 300 customers per day, order fulfillment and point of sale service. Their stakeholders. Primary stakeholders include local customers with an average of 300 daily and pre-order clients. And then secondary stakeholders, suppliers, delivery partners for bulk orders, and local health inspectors. And then, of course, the performance measures, ability to produce and sell baked goods continuously from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. during operational hours, adherence to health and safety standards, maintaining safe food temperatures, and of course, customer satisfaction. Serving all customers within 10 minutes of their order has been identified by the bakery. Step 2, we identify input requirements. In this step, we identify products, services, information, supplies, equipment, and other resources or inputs required to perform the essential function and deliver the essential function outputs, which may be internal to the organization or depend on external partners. Mission owners should identify what inputs are required, from whom, and when, as the input may be required at the beginning of the essential function performance or as the functional process proceeds. The input description should include delivery time requirements. The bakery determined their essential function inputs include products, services, and resources needed, like supplies, which includes flour, sugar, eggs, dairy products, yeast, butter, and other ingredients necessary for daily production. Equipment, like ovens, mixers, refrigerators, proofing units, display cases, and cleaning equipment. Utilities, such as electric, water, and gas, to run baking and storage operations. And of course, staffing. Bakers, customers, service associates, cleaning staff, and a manager to oversee operations. They've also identified delivery time requirements. Raw materials like flour, eggs, butter, etc. must be replenished every 2 to 3 days. Equipment and maintenance should be scheduled quarterly or as needed to avoid disruptions. Let's move on to step 3. Identify dependencies and interdependencies. In this step, we identify dependencies and interdependencies with partners and stakeholders required to perform the essential function. Include other government organizations, critical infrastructure owners and operators, non-governmental organizations, private sector organizations, and others as appropriate. The description should include information on the ability and expectations of dependent organizations to provide required inputs during a disruption to normal operations. The bakery has determined their dependencies and interdependencies. Their dependencies include suppliers. They depend on daily or biweekly deliveries from local ingredient suppliers. Delays in delivery can affect production. Utilities. The bakery relies heavily on a continuous access to electricity, water, and gas for production. Interruptions in utilities can halt operations. Health and safety inspections. Regular compliance checks from local health departments to maintain food safety certifications. They've also identified their interdependencies. Local cafes and markets, many local small businesses depend on the bakery for their pastry supply, and the regional food bank. The regional food bank in the area uses supplies of unused baked goods to provide nutritional support for their stakeholders. Step 4 is to identify the leadership to perform the essential function. In this step, we identify organizational leadership required to make decisions and perform key actions necessary to perform the essential function. The description should include the location of appropriate senior leadership, specifically if their action can be performed remotely or if they are needed at a certain facility, as well as communication requirements to support the essential function performance. The bakery has determined the leadership required. The bakery manager oversees all operations, including staffing, production, schedules, and customer service. The manager must be physically present to supervise operations, ensure quality, and handle customer complaints. In case of remote work, the manager can coordinate deliveries and pre-orders via phone or email, but needs to be on site for critical decisions regarding production or equipment failure. Step 5 is identify staff who perform and support the essential function. In this step, we identify staff required to perform the essential function. The description should include appropriate knowledge, skills, abilities, expertise, experience, certifications, licenses, clearance, or permissions needed, and the number of staff required to perform the essential function. The bakery has identified the staff required. 3 to 4 bakers working in shifts to ensure continuous production of fresh goods. Customer service, 2 to 3 members per shift to handle sales, customer queries, and point-of-sale operations. And cleaning staff, 1 person to maintain cleanliness and hygiene throughout the facility during the operational hours. And identified in the previous step, a manager, 1 manager to oversee operations, customer relations, and supply orders. The certain skills and certifications needed are bakers should have formal training in baking and hygiene certification, customer service staff should have point-of-sale system experience and food safety knowledge, and the manager must have experience in both bakery management and customer service. Step 6, identify communications and IT requirements. In this step, we identify communications and information systems required to perform the agency's or department's function that you own. The description should include specific capabilities or data needed, classification requirements, and any other unique information. The description should also include information on system dependencies and interfaces with other systems or data sources, like cloud-based software or external data systems. The bakery has identified its IT requirements. The systems that are required are the point-of-sale system for order tracking, tracking sales, and managing inventory, supply chain management system to keep track of ingredient orders, stock levels, and supplier coordination, and customer management tools. The bakery offers online orders or bulk requests. It needs communication tools like email, phone, website. They're essential. And it's also identified dependencies. The point-of-sale system relies on uninterrupted internet activity, and the communication tools like phone, email require stable utility services. Step 7, we identify alternate location requirements. In this step, we identify facility requirements needed to perform the organization's essential functions. The description should include space, configuration, security, safety, support services like lodging or food services, or medical support if needed, and storage requirements appropriate for the agency or department's function. The bakery has to determine the needs of its alternate location. The facility requirements are: the bakery requires space with commercial kitchen setup, including ovens, refrigerators, storage areas, and customer-facing counter. If the primary location is unavailable, an alternate space would need to be similar to the kitchen infrastructure, including gas, electricity, and water connections. And the facility must comply with local safety regulations and offer a secure environment for staff and customers. Step 8, identify resource and budgeting requirements. In this step, we identify resource and budgeting requirements to perform the function following a disruption or until normal operations are resumed. Also list resources not yet captured in the BPA process that may include standard operating procedures, essential records, and reference materials required for the function's performance. The description should include and account for funding requirements and all identified resources needed to perform the essential function and any supporting activities. The bakery has determined its resources and budgeting requirements. It covers resources needed, ingredients, regular inventory management to avoid stock shortages, equipment maintenance, budget for routine repairs and replacement of baking equipment, and staff salaries, funds for compensating employees and paying utilities. Budget requirements also include funds for unexpected disruptions, equipment failure, delayed ingredient deliveries, and ensure resources for staffing, rent, utilities that are sufficient to recover 7 days a week operations. Finally, we have step 9, describe the process flow. In this step, we develop a narrative description that captures all information gathered during step 1 through 8 and describes the process of performing the function. Also develop a process flowchart to show the process. Documenting the process will not only describe how the function is accomplished, but will also validate the information compiled and limit omission of any details. Here we see the process flow for the bakery's identified essential function, starting at the beginning of the day with the staff turning on equipment and ordering the appropriate level of supplies, and ending the day with the equipment being sanitized, cleaned, and everything being prepared for the next day. Take the time to fill out your process flow. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Write it out and submit it along with your survey. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and fill out the survey. Feel free to watch this video as many times as you like. If you have any questions, reach out to your continuity program manager. Thank you.